I think we're in live.
Yeah.
All right. So let me check in actually. If you're in live.
Should we see visitors somewhere?
Not really. I'll send you the link actually later on. But should be with me a few seconds, please. It's getting slower actually. Yeah, we're in live. We're in live. So let's start. I think. Can you hear me, Steve? Can you hear me, Kalani?
Yes, I hear very well.
All right. So good evening, everybody. Today is the Eid day, basically, in Bangladesh and all over the world. But we know the unprecedented corona circumstances take away the gesture and the happiness of Eid, what we used to do all together all over the globe. But being human being, actually, we have to move on. And considering the very day, actually, I bring two of my company's overseas university guest and good friend of Bangladesh as well. Later on, I'll explain. Mr. Stig, the admission director of Halmstad University in Sweden, and Mrs. Kalani Pillalamari. She is the international student support over there. So, good evening, Stig. Good evening, Kalani. How are you today?
Well, first of all, good evening to you, Ray. It's very nice to speak to you here from Halmstad University in Sweden. I mean, as you said, I'm a big fan of Bangladesh, been there many times, and I would have preferred to come over there and speak directly to you. But in these times and these days during the pandemic, it's not just possible. So, but I'm very happy to be able to do it online. Yep.
Thank you very much. Kalani, could you say something, a good wish to the Bangladeshi people
Yes.
for Eid?
Hi, I'm Kalyani, as Prashant already introduced me. I support international students at Halmstad University, Sweden. Eid Mubarak. That's one thing, and I hope everybody is safe after the cyclone. And yes, let's get started. I came to Bangladesh 2 years back. I would like to come back again. Let's see. Yes, that's you can get more information from us about the university, Sweden, your questions, everything. So maybe let's start the webinar.
All right. So it is really nice to hear from you guys, and yeah, we wish you also a good time over there. We know all passing a very bad time indiscriminately all over the parts of the globe. It's not regarding the country, not regarding the society. It's disregarding the borderline of the state and continent as well. So hope these gloomy days will come up and we'll again see the sunny are engulfing our smile faces. So good evening again from Pro Info Edu Consultant. It's basically a education consultancy company stationed in Dhaka. We have been opened these companies back 2009 December, and since then it's been 1 decade or so. We have been meticulously working to facilitate Bangladeshi students sending different countries all over the world. We try to stick to an ideology of ethical practice, professionalism, sincerity, honesty, and all rigors in business integrity. This company, since the inception, actually, we have been trying to work for different continents. We have been working for Canada, USA, and the other part of the Atlantic, especially in the Western Europe, United Kingdom, Oceania, and Asia as well. But out of the Europe, actually, we focusing Sweden, undoubtedly, and that's why we are here today with our overseas partner university, Halmstad University, stationed in Halmstad in Sweden. So presently, two officials over there here. One, I mentioned that Mr. Istik Patu, who is the admission director over there, he has been traveled Bangladesh several times. He's known a lot of students, parents, and I see his Facebook friends, a lot of common friends. Those who are not in this industry even, they are involved in different industries in your countries. He's a kind of good friend and known personality here. Regarding Kalani, she is taking care all of the international students supports and other things. Those are going from the Bangladesh over there as well. Also, he is a marketing personnel over for the university as well. I would like to ask Mr. Istik, how do you feeling to be here in such a Eid day here, and also could you just tell me something about the Swedish education system, and more importantly about your university?
Okay, thank you, Ray, for the very nice word. First of all, I mean, I've been several times to Bangladesh, and I really like it. And I also had the opportunity to travel some parts in the country. So I find it always a big pleasure to work with Bangladesh and the Bangladeshi students. Halmstad University, we aim to attract students from all over the world, and we manage to do so quite well. But one of the success stories for our university has actually been Bangladesh, and we have been able to recruit many good students from Bangladesh to Halmstad University over the years with the help of Pro Info. So it's, I mean, I remember my first trip to Dhaka. I lived in the Farmgate area, and I quickly realized there are no shortage of agencies in Dhaka. There are plenty of them.
That's correct.
So for you, it's very important to choose the right agency, because you need to know about the market. And Pro Info, they do, because they have been working with us and other universities in Sweden for a long time. So make sure to, if you use an agency, make sure to use someone you trust. And yeah, I mean, Halmstad University, we're a medium-sized, well, a small-sized to Bangladeshi standards in the southern parts of Sweden. We're a state university. We are rather comprehensive with many different areas. But what we will talk to you today is our master programs, where we teach in English, because I mean, for you it would be very difficult to study in Swedish, but we have some very attractive options for you. And speaking in general terms, I mean, Sweden is would be considered a very safe, clean, and open society. We have over the years had many students from Bangladesh, among other countries, and I hear it all the time. This is a good place to study. You will not only have a very you will not only have an academic degree of a very high standard, you will also have a high quality of life. So coming here, you will benefit on many levels. When you apply to Sweden, you do so online, and there are some certain documents you must submit, and you should definitely ask for the help of a Pro Info. They will guide you through the process. Whether you are interested in coming already this year, the intake is in August. It is tight. There's not much time. It's still possible for some programs, but maybe more likely for the 2021 intake. So you will help them, and they will guide you through the application process. And then afterwards, you will also need to apply for the residence permit. And that might also be a tricky process to navigate through. So you definitely need the guidance in this. So you can trust the advice from Mr. Prushan and his team. They know about Sweden and they know about Halmstad. And that is a very, very important thing to keep in mind, because not all agencies are very knowledgeable. They don't know very much about Swedish educational system. I will ask Kalyani later on to maybe talk a little bit more about the actual educational system. But before I will ask her to continue, I mean, I cannot ignore the fact that the pandemic that's raging around the world. So, and many of you have lots of questions about this. What's the situation like in Sweden? I'm not sure if you are aware of the situation in Sweden, but in some media we have been described as taking a different path in dealing with the pandemic. So we are not in a state of lockdown as many countries. We have remained rather open, where the government, they didn't introduce laws banning us from do certain things. Instead, they had recommendations. They say, we recommend that you work from home. And I have been doing so for more than a month. They say you should avoid unnecessary contacts. So like, we don't go to restaurants, concerts, as much as we did. And well, in fact, we don't do it at all. So we are in a sort of semi-lockdown, but it's not by law. It's by they ask us to behave consciously, and we have done so over this time. So, but if you're planning to come for this year, I mean, at the moment there are travel restrictions. I mean, not only in Sweden, all over the world, and we have to deal with this. And the problem we have today is we don't know 100% sure what the situation will be in Sweden or in Bangladesh. So all of these things will affect the possibilities to arrive this year. But it is very important that for those of you that already applied for this intake or are planning to do so, the Halmstad University, we plan for regular campus studies in August, as usual. Our students should apply for the visa and come here and study on campus. But we know there might be problem. I mean, not only, even though if the borders are open again, we are not sure what about flights. What will be, what kind of, how will they run the airlines? So for those who cannot make for the regular campus studies, there will be an online option for the initial part of the program. And then we plan for those to do maybe 10 weeks online and then come to campus and continue. Yeah. What
All
can I more? Yeah.
That's a lot of information I got from you, Steve. Those are very important for the upcoming students as well as the students, existing students, those who got admission already and in a kind of hesitation or dilemma what to do actually. So I'm going to come back to you again regarding
Yep.
this sort of questions. But for the time being, I'm going to ask you questions about the Kalani, like what sort of tasks and responsibilities you are involved in the university, and how the students can get information once he or she will be there. I mean, what sort of facilities we can expect from him once the student will be there?
Yes. Once the student arrives here at Halmstad University, then we have a team together with me. We support students at registrations, education, how they have to take the exams, schedules, if they have any problems, maybe with the health, how to proceed further. And we try to explain them the educational system because it's quite different compared to other countries. Everybody expects here that you get a book from an author or books. You just have to read and reflect it. But the education system in Sweden is quite different. You have to give your opinion of that particular topic. It doesn't mean that you have to copy or write the same thing. So to understand this kind of an education system, it's a process. It is not possible to just understand in one day or 1 month. So during their studies, I try to make them understand how to cope up with the studies, how they can be successful, and how they can use our sources like library or health or all other departments, how we are incorporated together with each other. And apart from that, we also have some social activities for international students, like you can take International Day, just an example. And we have different kinds of activities like that, like career fairs, projects, in different projects, and for the companies, company visits, maybe for the thesis. So any kind of questions, if international students have a question about residence permit, then they can ask me. So it's not restricted to one particular topic. Almost during all their education, we are here to support them. We also expect the students to contribute in the same way, because if the student doesn't contribute, it doesn't make sense. We supporting them again and again. So we also expect students to contribute to their education.
All right. So it is a nice information as well. But um, getting admission in Sweden, it's not like the typical admission in North America, United Kingdom, or other parts of the world.
Mhm.
They have a unique system of getting admission for international students. That's called the central admission systems. They have two intakes, basically autumn and spring. So the majority program offers in autumn semester.
Yes.
Springs follows the very lower number of programs over there, and we know that the scholarships, SAS scholarships, university scholarship,
Yeah.
World Bank and Fellowship scholarship, UNESCO scholarship, all sort of other scholarships are available for only September intake. I mean,
Yes.
autumn on. So getting admission actually it's a bit complicated process, but not that much complicated if you know the process as well. I will ask regarding these things. I will ask Stig actually the admission process, because he is the admission director of the university. So Stig, could you tell us about the central admission process? Stig, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I just muted my microphone for a while.
All right, that's not a
Okay.
problem.
Yeah.
I was just asking the two
Yep.
aspects you explain, like how the central admission system works over there
Yep.
in Sweden.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
and
heard you. I heard you. So yeah.
and, and as admission director of a university like Halmstad University, how you incorporate with the system? I mean, to understand the process by the students. Thank you.
I mean, when you apply for Sweden, you go through the central admission system called universityadmissions.se, and you are able to choose 4 different programs could be 4 different universities if you want to. So the main thing is one student, one application. So you upload the documents online, and yeah, you have to fulfill certain criteria. And then I will process them. So whenever you applied, I will personally look at them and make sure that you are qualified. And so this is done online. But previous years, I have also been to the office at Pro Info, sitting in their office, talking to the students, and checking the documents and doing whatever I have to do in the system. And then once all of the work has been done, we have a selection. So, I mean, if the better grades you have, the better chance you have of being admitted. And also, the better grades you have, the better chance you have of having a scholarship. And once the selection is done, the result is announced on the web, and then you are either admitted or maybe on the waiting list, or in some cases unqualified. But it will all be presented online.
Yeah. And added to that, once you receive your admission, or before you receive your admission, you receive an email from Halmstad University about the scholarships where you have to apply. There will be a link provided, and there are certain questions that you have to answer. And through this link, you have to apply for Halmstad University scholarships. But in Sweden, apart from our Halmstad University scholarship, we also have SI scholarship, but this is for the next autumn. Okay. This SI scholarship is it covers whole tuition fees as well as the living expenses and travel expenses. But Halmstad University scholarship covers part of the tuition fee. So maybe you receive 25% of the scholarship or 50% of the scholarship. So it means that you still have to pay 75% or 50% of the tuition fees, and you have to have your living expenses with you if you receive a scholarship from Halmstad University. But if you apply for SI scholarship and you get you receive a SI scholarship, then your full tuition fee is waived as well as your living expenses.
And also during this process, before the application, like today, and during the application process, we will have info sessions on webinars, and we will also work with our partners like Pro Info in Bangladesh to guide you, so make sure that you have the proper information whenever it's needed.
Well, in this concern, I would like to explain within a very short form that how, as an overseas partner of Halmstad University or Swedish University, how we're helping here in the process. We get the once we get the complete documents of a student, like the documents, a lot of things actually we need, like student's transcript, student academic documents, recommendations from their concerned universities, their CVs, and a lot more things actually. Then what we do actually, we apply it to the central system, Swedish central system, and the deadline for application is the 15th of January each respective year. Say for example, if the student's gonna go to join 2021, so they have to apply by the January 15 of 2021. So it's a it's a long process actually, and the results are published centrally. I mean, the very first week of April. It's the 3rd of April or 4th of April kind of things. So once the result published, all the students indiscriminately, all countries can see their result actually. That whether he got admission, it is in the queue of the waiting list. And once the result published, and the university gonna send some email to all respective students, respective emails. Once a student get notified, then we, as being a company, as being an education consultancy firm, we accumulate all the documents like a sponsorship and other documents, admission letter, and everything, and then we apply to the Swedish Migration Agency for permission for visa or something like that. So once we apply to the Swedish migration agency, within a certain period of time, sometimes it takes 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. It depends on the queue and the process itself. So once they get in a decision, sometimes they straight notify the students through email that they got visa. But most of the time, in the students of subcontinent, especially in my country, they notify to the concerned embassy here in Dhaka, and embassy call to the concerned students to have an appointment date, and the student get an appointment date, go there with the documentation that they process. I mean, they applied while they applied to the Swedish migration agency. They go to the embassy, get interviewed, and put the fingerprint, come back to home, and within a certain period, like 2 to 3 weeks time, the embassy gonna notify them that they got visa or not. And by then, the student go over there and collect the UT card, like the visa, you can say, like the with collection the UT card. The student we help the students get the air ticket, and in the meanwhile, we communicate with the concerned universities, especially in Halmstad. We communicate with the Halmstad University regarding the accommodation. So it is a very important matter. When you get the admission, within a certain period of time, you should communicate with the university regarding the admission, because getting admission in Sweden, accommodation. I'm sorry, I do apology. Accommodation is not very available in everywhere, like all other countries. So you have to be careful about things to apply for the accommodation in advance. So ultimately, doing everything when the students fly over there and they get accommodated and start classes over there. Lani, contribute something? Add up something? Yeah.
When it comes to accommodations, I strongly suggest all the students come to Sweden with an accommodation. Our student union have increased the available seats for the international students. Especially, we have a lot of options this year, and the main problem is we cannot accommodate families.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that is. Yeah.
In that case, you have to have an accommodation by yourself through our university. You come to Sweden as a student, and once you find an accommodation, then invite the families. This is the suggestion that we can give to the students, because most of our students assume that, okay, I can just go to Sweden and I'll find an accommodation in an hour, but that is not possible in Sweden. Our student union allocates all the accommodations to all the students, and you receive an email to your email addresses from our student union, and you have to apply for the accommodation, and then you will be granted the accommodation. So come to Sweden with an accommodation, because it is very difficult. It is impossible to find an accommodation in just 1 hour here in Sweden.
And for applicants from Bangladesh, especially Bangladesh, there are so many applicants. So when you're applying for the residence permits, don't wait, because there will be a big backlog of people waiting for an interview.
Yeah.
So you don't have the time to wait. And also for accommodation, don't wait, think, oh, this is maybe a little bit too expensive, I'm waiting for something different. Then they might be gone. So you have to almost take whatever you can in the beginning, and then after I have stayed in Halmstad maybe for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, I don't know, then you can find something else. Then you will talk to the international students, because many of them, they have arranged their own. Sorry?
No, they get contacts and networks, so they can arrange by their own after a few months.
Yeah. But don't make the mistake, like Haliana said, coming here without accommodation, because it will not work.
Yeah, it is impossible. Even if you know me, I cannot fix the accommodation in 1 hour.
Yeah.
It is impossible. So just be prepared that you're coming here with the accommodation. And we also have one more question. To apply for the residence permit, students assume that they need an accommodation before they apply for residence permits.
Yeah.
You don't need to wait to apply for residence permit. You don't need to have an accommodation. You can directly apply for residence permit, and then you can also look for accommodation simultaneously. There is no connection between these two. Yeah,
I understand. Yeah. So it's our earnest request to all the students. Actually, you have to apply for the accommodation parallelly when we applying to the Swedish Migration Agency for your visa permit as well. So accommodation is a very important part of the process of studying education in Sweden. Kalane, I would like to ask you about the programs you have
Yes.
in your university. Like you have some different category of programs, like business program, the engineering program. You have some
Yeah.
social welfare program. So could you explain the program, the availability of programs you have for the international students, including, including the tuition fees as well. I mean,
Sure. Uh, I would first categorize the programs. It's first is engineering, social science, and natural science, and we have business programs. In engineering, we have information technology, embedded systems, electronic design, network forensics, or industrial innovation management, and we also have smart innovation and business programs. We have strategic leadership, international marketing in international growth, and we also have natural science programs, which is applied environmental science and biomedicine. And then social science, we have welfare systems. So if I have to go deep into the programs, when it comes to engineering programs, IT and embedded, they are more connected to big data and ARM processors, algorithms. You have to have some computer languages known, software languages like Python, Java would really help you. If you're choosing innovation programs, innovation engineering programs like industrial management or smart innovation, then these are programs where students with an engineering background can study business. It's not about business, it's about engineering, but how you do the product development, process management. It is very specific only for engineering students that wanted to pursue some kind of business knowledge. So for example, smart innovation and energy smart innovation and industrial innovation, these two programs are specially made to teach product development. So a student coming from civil engineering may be confused. Okay, I am a civil engineering student, so I only need to do the road construction. But this programs are not related to road construction, but it is about smart innovation. So I must say that these programs are quite different from other programs, but these programs are made for the students who want to study business and their background is engineering. For example, in my case, I had bachelor's in electronics and communication engineering, but I was interested in project management programs. So I chose to study industrial management program. It's like maybe 6 years back now, but it's just an example that I can give you. So any engineering student can study innovation, and Halmstad University is famous for smart innovation. So if you're interested, just look into the program content also. And next famous programs are, we have strategic entrepreneurship with respect to international marketing and leadership. As the name suggests, it's the business programs completely related to leadership strategies and marketing strategies in an international context. And we also have natural science programs like applied environmental science. If you have a background of ground or water or some kind of cell biology, this could be a very good program for you. Cell biology in plants, for example, you can study wastewater management. Maybe you can clean the pollution. If you're interested in something like environmental science, then we have a master program in applied environmental science. And biomedicine is a program related to anatomy and physiology. It's a different program. It's about the body parts, but you don't study about the body parts, but you study about the outcome of a body when you do an exercise. So if you are interested in physiotherapy and physiology and anatomy, then this program is for those students. And we also have a social science program that is welfare systems. This is about the society, it's Nordic welfare system. So if you're interested in some kind of democratical issues or life sciences, how the Nordic countries have managed very well during the past years and how their constitution and democratic values have been made, this might be interesting for you. And then we have other engineering programs like mechanical engineering and network forensics and electronic design, completely based on electronics, of course. Network forensics is a cybersecurity. It's part of ethical hacking. So students who are very keen and knowledgeable or interested in some kind of hacking technology, then I must say that network forensics is really for them. So this is
All
the
right.
package of our master programs. We
Um,
have around 13 master programs and 2 courses.
we got actually in-depth information about the programs you're offering. Most of the engineering programs still give up, if I'm not mistaken, it's for 2 years, right? Most of
Yes, well, it's a combination. Some are 2 years and some
yeah,
are 1 years. But the important thing is you will have a master,
Degree.
whether you have studied for 1 or 2 years.
that's
The,
correct, absolutely correct. Could you
difference,
tell?
the difference between 1 year and 2 year program is in 1 year program, students study 60 credits, and 2 years you study 120 credits.
Judy, that's correct. Could you tell us correlate the issue of the crediting our students gonna finish his or her master degree over there, and how it is correlated to the post study work permit or the other issues? Because most of the times we students are so much fastidious about the process because they get a lot of negative informations or the informations over there. So like some people most of the people, I mean, ask about this issue. And could you just explain the things, anyone, Stig or Kalania, like the crediting is how it
If you're
affects?
talking about post-study residence permit, usually students assume that when they are in the final semester, they can directly apply for PSW, post-study work visa, or post-study residence permit. But in Sweden, that is not the case. In order for you to apply for a PSW, you have to finish the whole master program. It might be 1 year, it might be 2 years, it doesn't matter. Only when you finish the program, then you have Ladakh certificate. It's like a degree certificate. You have all your 60 credits or 120 credits. Once you have that document, then you have to apply for PSW. So most of the students assume that in many of the other countries, it is like that. If you're in a final semester, you are ready to apply for PSW. But in Sweden, it is not the case. You definitely need to finish the program and only then you can apply. And apart from that, we also have, for example, every semester we have 4 courses, which is 30 credits. And in order for you to go to the next semester, you need to fulfill the requirement. There is a certain eligibility requirement that you have to finish. For example, you minimum need to have 15 credits from your first semester to go to your second semester.
I
And
see.
yeah, and it's the same. Even if you're going to the third semester, you need to have at least 35 to 45 credits. But this depends on we have different eligibility criteria for different programs.
Right. One more thing I would like to add up with the information that the Scandinavian countries, especially Sweden, they have very, unlike many European countries, postgraduate students can apply with their spouse and kids, families at a time. This is a special privilege of studying over in Sweden. There had been little problems last year, the new regulation, but now as we can experiencing that the students have a good quality because the Swedish universities are recruiting some now genuine students because the criteria, the process of screening and providing the admissions out of the students from Bangladesh and this part of the world has been much more rearranged. I mean, if a student, so far I know, like if a student when I study over in Sweden, he or she has to has IELTS 6.5. So Stig, could you please tell me, because I can say that some of the comments are coming here, like what about the language proficiency? I have to have someone say it from here. Saif Ratul, hi everyone, good day. Is there any other option to study in Sweden without IELTS? So could you explain some other alternatives like you have, like?
Yeah, well, the requirements has become much more stricter for Bangladesh. Before there were a lot of exemptions from tests like IELTS or TOEFL, but now these days, in most cases, you actually need a test, and then you need IELTS 6.5. So that was introduced starting last year. So before there were maybe if you studied at a certain university, then you were exempted from tests, but that doesn't apply anymore. But if you have a certain degree in engineering, you still might be exempted from the IELTS test. But in most cases, you need this. So, and that is one thing you can always ask Pro Info consultants. What's the situation for me? But yeah.
And Stig, we know that there is an exemptions in this case. If students get his or her bachelor from overseas English-speaking countries, they can get the exemption.
But I know. Yeah, but I know it's very common that students from Bangladesh, they have studied in collaboration maybe with a British university or maybe a Malaysian university. So
yes.
if the actual degree is issued by some university in Malaysia or in the UK, then we will consider it as a UK or Malaysian degree. And if it's a UK degree, you will always be exempted from the IELTS. If it's a Malaysian degree, in most cases, there are a few exceptions, but we will consider it belonging to that country. Doesn't matter if the majority has been taken in Bangladesh or not. We will look at the actual degree. Where is the university from? So, yeah.
I understand. Kalanya, add up something?
Yeah, no, there is a question about Swedish language. If someone need to have a Swedish language, if they want to do any job or to study. No, you don't really need to have Swedish language. But if most of the people think that in Sweden, everybody speaks only Swedish, but no, everybody speaks English here. So you don't have to worry if you. But you are free if you want to learn. It's good, of course. It's an added advantage, but it is not mandatory.
I understand. So, Kalanya, I would like to ask you a question. Actually, yeah, you were basically traveling to Halmstad like 3 years back as an Indian students over there. So, could you please tell us something about the adaptability of the society? I mean, the nature of the, we know that the Swedish people are, though sticker here, it's not going to be exaggeration. When I was in England, actually, I know about these things, that the Swedish people are very friendly. In fact, all Scandinavian people, they're friendly, social, amicable, and very hospitable. So, could you tell us something about this issue? How could you adopt about these issues, and something about the food and the weather over as well? Like, if you give us some information.
I will start with the weather.
Yeah, weather, right.
I'm listening.
Everybody. I must say, right now the weather is really good, but usually it's quite cold and windy. It's not about the snow. Halmstad doesn't snow. Everybody assumes that Sweden is like white always with snow, but no, it's actually very cold, very dark. You see, Steve, and it's sometimes.
I'll show you.
Not today.
It's 14 degrees. Steve, you know it. It's 14 degrees. It's different,
We'll see.
For the first winter, everybody say it's the hard winter for everyone. But other thing is, Swedes here are very, very open. They are ready to help you, support you. So if you have any questions, you doesn't need to really hesitate. We have a saying here: there is no stupid question. So I actually suggest the students to come when they come to Sweden, come with an open-mindedness and ask more and more questions. That's how we really like that's what we also wanted from the students. And if you ask me, first winter was the toughest winter, but the next winters I started taking semester. And
Yeah.
but
It's a,
the summers are really beautiful.
yeah,
So
that's the general scenario of the
yes.
Scandinavian countries. We know actually, all the students know, so that's the part of the way that you have to navigate. Stig, you and I think you're trying to focus on summer phase of the. You know, say anything about this? Yeah, we can see that you have a very beautiful premises. Hopefully, we're going to visit your premises. I mean, the garden,
Yeah.
some of that. It's very
Yes,
sunny.
yes. If the students are here in Sweden, actually, Stig sometimes organizes some kind of barbecues in his garden.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't know
we
it.
should
I
do
didn't know
that.
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, if the pandemic stops, we will have a barbecue here in end of August or beginning of September. And
We're gonna see it as live, you know. We're gonna see it as a
yeah.
live from here from this
And the
time.
best
But
part of Halmstad is we have very close beaches, and we can just walk to the beach from
I mean,
anywhere in Halmstad.
one thing. I mean, when I travel to like I don't know, Dhaka, Chennai, or something, there's a lot of people and there's crowds everywhere, noises, sounds all the time. I mean, I kind of like it but for a while, but then I really like coming back to Sweden because what you
Quiet.
will, I mean, there are lots of open spaces, parks, trees, greenery, clean air, and silence. Maybe in the beginning, too much. It's too silent for you. For you, maybe you become a
Stick,
little bit scared. Where is everyone? But
Stick, you don't forget. Yeah, we don't forget that we are contributing the 1/3 population of the globe. You know,
yeah, yeah,
anyway, it's a joke actually.
yeah.
Stick, you also mentioned earlier. I would like to ask once again about the performance of the Bangladeshi students, those who have been studying with the uni. Could you tell me something about the performance? Very shortly, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, we are quite happy with the. Sorry, we're quite happy with the performance of the Bangladeshi students, and that's the reason why I have been coming there. So, I mean, a couple of times every year for the past few years. Of course, there are some exceptions. I mean, some are not performing as expected, but I mean, it's like that's the same situation among Swedes or other nationalities. But there might be some problem with concerning Bangladesh. It is a fact that many do come with spouses and children, and if they haven't arranged the proper family accommodation, it will become very stressful for them to finding the suitable accommodation, and that will for sure affect the studies. And also, students coming here, whether they're from Bangladesh or any other country, if they come here with not enough money to support them, being dependent on part-time job, which they are allowed to do, but it will also take some time. So you make sure you have the accommodation and that you have enough money to support you. Then you will be then you will do fine. Even though, I mean, Kalyani explained to you, it's a very different academic system. But we know that, I mean, doing a bachelor in Bangladesh is not an easy thing. And if you have managed to complete a bachelor in Bangladesh, you can for sure do a master in Sweden. But you will have to work hard, and you must be able to pay full attention to the studies in the beginning. Then maybe the second semester or the third semester, you can thinking about doing a part-time job. That's my suggestion. But I mean, we have students who have graduated from the master programs and found very good, well-paid jobs, especially in the IT area. And we also have students who have progressed to research and PhD.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they are. I mean,
I have students from Bangladesh who actually got jobs before they finished their semester, last semester, before they finish their program. So the first important thing is when you come here, you have to get adapted to the situations and the culture, and you have to get into the system. So it will make you much easier to look for jobs. Most of the students, when once they arrive here, the first day is like they start looking for jobs. No, take your time, because it takes time to get adapted to the culture. It's a different country, different culture, and we understand it.
and those, I mean, who are looking for a future afterwards in Sweden, I mean, the best or maybe even the only way into the Swedish society is the degree.
Yeah.
That is how you will enter the job market. And you will have after graduation, you have at least 1 year with a working visa to find a good job. Maybe not the dream job from the beginning. It could be anything. Even McDonald's, you will have a work permit, but it will allow you to have some time to find the one you actually want. But yeah, a few students, they have been doing too much part-time jobs that in the end affect their study results. And these students, they will have to leave the country at one point. They can manage to get another year, but eventually they will have to leave. And then you have lost, well, everything actually. But with the master degree, you have a good chance of settling down here. Or if not Sweden, I mean, many of them go to neighboring countries like Denmark or Germany. So with a Swedish master degree, you will have a very strong CV that will be highly recognized wherever you go, because the Swedish academic system is renowned all over the world, being maybe not the best in the world, but among the best in the world.
And
Kalan,
also,
yeah.
yes, you're telling something.
You carry on. If you
No,
want to add up
to add to Stick's point, most of the students assume that they will have classes from 8 to 5 and every week 40 hours. No, that's not how it is scheduled here. Maybe they have classes, or the schedule is only 1 day a week, but doesn't matter. They definitely need to concentrate at least 40 hours a week to finish their studies. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. It's a very difficult time if they do not do this 40 hours of education. Why? Because it's a self education. Nobody will ask you to study or write or do the assignments and reflections. No, it is you who is responsible for yourself.
I understand. Actually, this is the beauty of Swedish working system over there. As an international student can work longer period of time over there, unlike many other European countries, or some of the part of the world, Western countries, America, North America, or Oceania. Kalani, could you, Kalani, I'd like to ask you about the campus structure and the classroom system of the Halmstad University. Could you tell us shortly?
Yes, campus structure, we have different how building departments, different buildings for different departments, and we do have classrooms from 200 to even where a classroom can fit 100 students, 200 students, and 30 students. But it's mostly it's the group studies, team building activities, because when a student starts working, they are not going to work alone. Nobody is going to work alone in the future. When they are going into any company or applying for jobs, they have to work within teams. So we try to incorporate the same system into our education.
I understand. Istik, you know, add anything?
Uh, well, I mean, Sweden is. I mean, we are a very entrepreneurial, innovative country. So this will be integrated to any program you study. I mean, to a larger extent in some programs, but in all programs there are aspects of innovation and entrepreneurship. And I mean, we know. I mean, even if you do a 1-year master program, a 2-year master program, you will be eligible for PhD. But we know that most students, they want to go for a career in find a good job, maybe to repay some of the investment they have made in this education. So I mean, for Halmstad University, it's very important to be closely connected to the companies and make the students prepared for coming out and work in this highly entrepreneurial area.
Istik, I'm sorry to interrupt. Could you just tell our audience that how many recognized and very famous international companies you have? Few of those we know, actually a lot of companies, Swedish companies, those who are
Yeah, I mean, there are the old traditional companies like the car makers, Volvo. I'm not sure what's famous in
Maybe I can
Bangladesh, but
help.
maybe you're better,
she,
Kalyani.
she can help
Yeah,
us.
the programs, there are some programs who are directly connected to companies like, Elico. It's the rubber, the worldwide famous company that produce sports products. Elico, Hogefa, HGF, which is a rubber factory. And we also have Volvo. So apart from that, we also have collaborations with consulting companies and into the programs
I
in
understand.
our master programs. And of course, like Stig said, we have a lot of traditional companies. We also have SKF and Scania. We have some of the industrial visits to these companies. And we have Barbary Energy. It's like a company that produces electricity, wind power.
Uh,
It's a very huge company here in Sweden. It
oh,
produces. Sorry.
no,
But
we
they
actually,
are,
there is
yeah,
Stik. Yeah.
I mean, Swedes are very humble persons. We don't like to brag. We don't like to boast. We don't like to show off. So
We know it.
there are many Swedish companies that you are not aware of. They are being Swedish, like
Yeah.
uh, Spotify, Skype. I mean,
Bluetooth.
we want to be international. It's not. It's more important to be international than Swedish. So there's only actually one company, a furniture company called IKEA. They make a point of being Swedish, but apart from that, you probably think they are American or British or something. So and we are very big in the gaming industry. There are lots of famous games.
And all the
At
mouse
le-
touch games are from Sweden in the beginning.
yeah. So, but I mean, yeah.
Single click games.
Actually, we heard a lot about this thing. That's why I was actually asking. So, got the information from you, and now, Kalani, you and I think we are almost in the borderline. I would like to thank you that you were here for 1 hour,
Mm.
but it's been already 10. So I'm gonna keep you another 5 to 7 minutes. Some final. Some questions coming from here. Um, it's I can't answer all the questions. There's few of them. Uh, what is the GPA I need to apply for your computer science and science related program in your university? I think
Well,
Mr.
I mean,
Steek already explained. Yeah.
you cannot. I mean, When you apply for a master program, in most cases, you need a bachelor program in a related area. So if you want to do the master in international marketing, you need a BBA or something. You cannot come with, I don't know, computer science. There are a few exceptions where the programs allow students from broader backgrounds. But once you have the proper background, then when we do the selection, we will look at the GPA, we will look at your English proficiency, and we will also look at the status of the universities. Like for if you apply from Bangladesh, it's a good thing if you have studied at Dhaka University. Compare maybe to a lesser known university in Bangladesh. But then we do the selection, and the better GPA you have, the better chance you have of being admitted. But you are still qualified with a lower GPA, but you might not. But you might be on the waiting list. So as long as you have the proper background, you can apply.
Yeah, that's good. A lot of questions actually coming in a way like this. It's not possible to answer all the questions. Probably I can give the answers from here later on. So, Stig, Kalani, you gonna say something, anything about Bangladeshi students? About, I mean, anything to say you
Sure.
about the session?
I see Bangladeshi students are a little bit shy. I don't know why. I really like to speak with them, and they are very good students. And they the Bangladeshi students actually concentrate much better. This is how you have to do, and they have a huge respect here. I like Bangladeshi students very much because they respect us, they talk to us, but they're a bit shy. They think that maybe I shouldn't ask questions to. don't
Maybe
you Steve?
Maybe they're humble. Stig, I must say that's may not be the shyness, rather it be the humbleness. It may be the humbleness, like the Scandinavian spirit. So, however, Colonia, thank you so much for giving us the time. Now, I would like to go back to Stig. Before that, I would like to ask you regarding your visits to Bangladesh, that how you experience Bangladesh as a whole, its food, its culture, its crowdiness. You said you didn't like it initially, but you're adapted. So how are you feeling, and how are you expecting from us?
I mean, I have to be honest. I mean, before I came to Bangladesh, I mean, you probably know, living in Western Europe, whenever we see Bangladesh in the news, it's usually a cyclone or something like that. So I really didn't know what to expect. But I was very pleasantly surprised, like Kalyana said, that how kind people were. And also, I have very fond memories, but one of them is with you, Prashun, when we went to that rooftop restaurant, and when we had the seafood. So I always have very, very good food in Bangladesh, and I actually didn't expect that. But so yeah, and
Bird eye.
and also, I mean, the
it
first.
bird eye?
Sorry.
Is it Bird Eye Restaurant?
No, not the Bird's Eye. That one was the first, I think. It's first restaurant. It was on the top floor, and the day was, it's so far I can remember, it was a Tuesday. And that was a coincidence. That was a coincidence that every Tuesday in a week, they organize this seafood display for the guests. And Stig mentioned that. Yeah, Stig, carry on.
And also, I mean, the traffic jams, I don't like them, but the big bustling city of Dhaka, it's really, I remember once I lived in a hotel in the Farmgate area, and I woke up like midnight. I mean, I'm from Sweden, that's when we sleep. That's when you eat maybe dinner, I don't know. But I woke up and it was like midnight, and there was still a traffic jam outside on the street, and I just could not believe it. What are all of these people doing at midnight? But it was like, yeah, I kind of enjoy this big metropolis, this life, but then after a while, I'm glad to come back home again. But it's especially the food and the kindness of the people. That's what I like the most.
Yeah, it's our pleasure to hear this from delegates all over the world. That they used to say that, not they used to say, we are used to get this information that we are one of the hospitable nations. We would like to entertain our friends, relatives, delegates, overseas friends, those who come. That's the nature, that's the tradition we've been nurturing decades, centuries in this part of the world. India is also experiencing the same nature as well. So we will be waiting to welcome you again, Stig and Kalani, and we pray to you Almighty in this very day of Eid that these bad days will come off and the sunny days will appear, and we will again travel all over the world. Our students will happily we fly over there, no hassles, no socioeconomic sufferings, and we all will be in live again, in the sense of real life. We have been in a like of, we have been jailed all over the world. We don't know what we had
It's a
the
long,
human
long
civilization.
time.
We went too much. We went too much against the God judgment and the nature as well. I don't know, but we can hope the best. We are repentant now, so hopefully this day is gonna come up very soon. And Istik and Kalani, thank you so much once again being with us, and it was our great pleasure. And I would like to say your final words about this very good day for Bangladeshis, and then by your by wishings, we're gonna close down the seminar for today. So
Okay.
yeah, Istik, say something final words for the
Okay,
Eid.
I mean, I wish you all the best, and if you are interested in to try out studying in Halmstad, please do so. We will do whatever we can to help you, and talk to Pro Info. They will guide you. So, and if everything works out, maybe we can meet here in my garden for the barbecue.
Sure,
Maybe
sure.
if not this year, but maybe 2021. That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kalani, your final word.
Thank you. It's nice answering the questions and telling something about Sweden. Okay, and welcome to Halmstad. Yes.
Thank you so much once again,
Goodbye.
being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you, Stig. Stay safe, stay home,
Thank
Yeah.
keep
you.
yourself safe.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. Thank you
Bye-bye.
guys. Thank you very much indeed. Bye.
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 Thanks.